last week, ESPN did what seemed to turn into a yearly tradition for them, laying people off. Yeah, ESPN went through their yearly budget cuts and money reallocation. They let guys like Ryan Clark, Tom Pelissero, Carl Ravitch, Cam Newton, Charles Davis, among many other names, just letting them go and laying them off. And this has been a yearly tradition for ESPN at this point. It seems like every year there are new names that are just taken out back to the shed and fired by ESPN as they continue to pretty much hemorrhage money because instead of, trying to fix the fact that their product is complete garbage, they just reallocate their money and think, oh, let's go get more new flashy big names. That'll fix everything. And it's a shame because me, a 22-year-old's media major, growing up, I wanted to be on ESPN. I loved ESPN. I grew up every day listening to Stuart Scott on SportsCenter, listening to Stan Everett, listening to Mike and Mike in the morning. Doing things like that helped me fall in love with sports and helped me before going to school every morning, giving me that kick and wake up and learning what was going on in the NBA or the NFL or the MLB or the NHL all around the sports world. And instead of that, today you aren't really getting Sports Center in the morning. You're going to get a talking head show where they're only going to talk about the 2 to 3 most important stories in all of sports. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't talk about those stories, they absolutely should. It's the fact that instead of talking about all the games in the MLB, just for an example right now, instead of talking about all the games in the MLB, all the games in all the other leagues going on right now, 95% of the stories that you've probably heard on ESPN over the last 2 days have been about LeBron James or Patrick Mahomes coming back from training camp. That's just the way it is. And that's one of the unfortunate major issues with ESPN because either they talk about the 2, 3 most important stories, and then when they do talk about those 2, 3 most important stories, they give the most outlandish opinions possible on those opinions and takes because instead of, giving people the news like they want to generate the social media clicks and the hot takes. That's why almost every show on ESPN now is a first take, is a talking head show. When First Take originally aired in the late 2000s, when it was, I believe, First and 10, what it was originally called under Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, the reason that show worked so well is because it was one of a kind. First Take was a more revolutionary style show that people hadn't seen before. Yes, Stephen A. and Skip still gave their outlandish takes, but people liked it because it was different. It wasn't like every show was First Take, which is now what it is on every major sports media network, whether it be The Herd with Colin Cowherd, whether it be all of these other major sports media networks which are going down the tube. All the shows they have now are talking head shows. And instead of informing fans on the product of sports, they just want to give their outlandish takes and opinions. And it's why you, listening to me ramble on about sports playing Madden 11 in the background right now, when is the last time that you genuinely watched ESPN to get content on sports? Because for me, it's been months, genuine months. If my family has it on in the background, I'll glance at it for a second. But in this age of social media and YouTube and Instagram, we are blessed as fans to have so much power when it comes to creating content. I mean, I get almost all of the opinions and takes and videos that I watch on sports through watching YouTube, through watching Instagram. Sure, you'll hear an very uneducated opinion here and there. Do not get me wrong. There are bad opinions on the internet all the time. But I know that not only does that person making that opinion genuinely believe what they're saying, even if I don't agree with them, they do genuinely believe what they're talking about. There are so many great sports media content creators on the market on YouTube and all these places right now. We have so many educated people able to give great insight and opinions without being censored by ESPN or ABC or whatever anybody wants them to say. We, as the people, have so much control in sports media right now, and it's great. It's so awesome. And Cam Newton even said it after getting fired. If you want to get somewhere in sports media today, you need to create your own market because that's the best place to be. Why would you want to go to ESPN or Fox or something like that and have your takes or opinions potentially censored or something along the lines of that when you can just create it all on your own? And ESPN has gone about the social media and content creation route in the genuine worst way possible. And this has been the anchor. The rest that I've talked about has been what's caused the downfall. This right here is the anchor. ESPN over the last half decade to decade has completely butchered and bungled the sports media content creation market on social media. Because like I said, all they care about is the hot takes and the quick clicks. That's all they care about. Instead of potentially taking some of these people on these websites, hiring them to, prop their brand up, give some smart, intelligent opinions on ESPN at all times, they instead will hire the big names. Oh, Pat McAfee, you've got a show on YouTube that's amassed a few million subscribers. You were a former punter. Here's this massive contract. Oh, and by the way, you can still air your show on YouTube. Yeah, you can keep it on YouTube so all those people can stay, and we won't force people to watch on ESPN. What? Like, the ESPN McAfee show deal makes literally zero sense to me the more I think about it. And before I say anything else, this isn't me trying to be like slanderous to Pat McAfee. If I were Pat McAfee, dude, I'd take the money that ESPN and ABC are giving me any day of the week. You're telling me I'm getting paid $60 million to be on College Game Day, which he has made better. I will 100% admit that. He has absolutely made game days on Saturday much better. But the other thing, he gets to keep his Pat McAfee show. It's not like just ESPN is airing it now. No, it's still on YouTube. It's one of the more insane things to me because that doesn't help viewership for ESPN. It's just wasting a few hours. And you've had to lay a bunch of people off because you're giving McAfee all this dang money, and it's just so counterintuitive, and it's so the epitome of what is wrong with ESPN today. Instead of hiring people who know what they're talking about and, would help make their product 10 times better, they need to pay McAfee and AJ Hawk and all their producers all of that money to just run the same show that they would on YouTube while keeping it on YouTube, instead of just, paying McAfee to come on game day for way less money. But that would make way too much sense for ESPN, and Disney doesn't care. They're just throwing money around and hoping something sticks. Gee, I wonder why that's not working. And it's a shame because we, the fans, do deserve better from our mainstream media. But luckily, guys, we've got the power. Go support your content creators. Go support the guys you love so much. Go find what you need on social media and on YouTube because trust me, it's way better than what you'd find on ESPN and whatever they'll do. And you gotta wonder if ESPN can fix this. Like, is this fixable for them? Like, are they at a point right now where there's no return, where they're just going to hope that the live sports train keeps going for a little while before they eventually will like run out of money? Because like it's not gonna just magically go away. You're not magically gonna just lose all this money and then stay afloat. You aren't. Or will they be able to rebound, reload, maybe relaunch a new version of ESPN that can launch them into a new technological era? But I am very pessimistic personally. I think that ESPN, genuinely, by the time I am 45, may be a company that no longer exists, which is just absolutely insane to think about. But let me know what you guys think. What should ESPN do to fix their absolute woes currently? Is there a way to fix it? Or is the new age of content creation, sports media just going to run them out of business? And is live sports going to be the only thing that saves them? I don't know. We'll see over the next few years. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.